Okay, so I seen this on the Vancouver Reddit subreddit here, and it had 876 comments. It really blew up on the subreddit, so I thought I'd just read it to you and give you a little comment on it. It's titled, "How Many Millennials, Gen Zs See Themselves Staying in Vancouver? With the cost of living and housing, how many of them actually see them staying in Vancouver or the Lower Mainland?" And it reads, "I grew up here and never thought I would want to leave, but with the high cost of living, I'm not sure if I'll be able to stay here anymore. I'm just starting out in my career, but have a pretty decent job, and with rent, bills, groceries, and paying back my student loan, I can't afford to save much. Since 2020, rent already went from 1,500 to 3,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. My grocery bill has doubled since 2021, and it seems everything else is getting more expensive while wages have stayed the same. I feel like if things continue at this rate, I see Vancouver looking very different in a few years with a big labor shortage in the service industry and among others, and negative consequences of the city becoming more unaffordable. Is anyone else feeling the same way? They might want to leave Vancouver soon. Of course, this really sparked a lot of debate here, and it just I found it interesting, and I can feel how for them. One of the first comments here, 80K is a minimum to make in a year in this city, and it's still tight. Yeah, I have a feeling that the future is just going to be a lot different than it was in the past. No one's going to own single family homes. People are going to be living in smaller spaces. It might be just a bedroom, a very small shower, a very small kitchen, 300, 400 square feet. And then there's a common area down below where, people can group and hang out. It's going to be a lot of dual incomes. That's what it's going to cost to afford. If you look at cities like London or Paris or any of the big cities like that, buying real estate really isn't a big option. Not that you can't buy real estate in those countries, you just have to go to smaller towns, smaller cities to be able to afford to buy something. So I think that's just really where it's going to be in Vancouver. It's going to be ultra rich people living in Vancouver, and then the rest of the people are just going to be renting. That's the way it is in a lot of other cities. And I know people don't want to hear this, but I think there are options to go out and find, real estate that might be worth checking out. I know this might not be what people want to hear or see, but I think if you go out to Abbotsford, for example, or Mission, you can actually find affordable places that you can buy by yourself. You don't need a partner. And nothing that's going to be too outrageous. Look at this, a single family home for 844 in Mission. Take the West Coast Express into Vancouver. Well, this is a big house here. What's this, 2,000 square feet almost? So, they have these options. If you're willing to go out further, I think these are going to get expensive too, but right now they're still affordable. You can still go out here in Abbotsford. What is this? Like two bed, two bath, $500,000. Like, look at that. 14 years old, fully rentable, parking underground, newly finished. Like, those are nice pictures. And it's Abbotsford. I know it feels like a far ways out, but I really do believe that Surrey is going to become the center of the Lower Mainland. It's going to have a higher population than Vancouver. It's going to be more centrally located. Workers are going to easily get out here. I think Vancouver in this area is just going to be for the ultra rich. Lots of tourists that want to stay downtown or whatever. But I actually feel like a lot of companies are even going to move out to Surrey. And within 10, 20 years, Surrey's going to have a bigger population. So moving out to Abbotsford right now, it's kind of like getting ahead of the curve. So if you really want to stick to Vancouver, it's going to be tough. But if you're looking at the Lower Mainland, if you're thinking long term, I still believe you can make it work even if you don't have a partner, even if you're by yourself. If you're making $80,000 a year, you know, make the commute for a little bit and then transfer down into Surrey. Look at this, two bed, one bath just came on the market here. No pictures though. Yeah, it's too slow. But yeah, so there are options. I don't think it's devastating. I think you're gonna have to make sacrifices. I know my parents made sacrifices, and it's never been easy to get into real estate. So I think that's one very achievable option.